Fergal, you're well known as one of the foremost marketing gurus in the country, and I think some people might argue that nobody knew what marketing was before you wrote your book. Um, the world of marketing has changed immeasurably in the last 5 years. We now live in an era of Google and Facebook and social networking. Do you think that has really changed the way marketeers are working for the better?
Well, I'm probably the wrong one to ask about marketing because you see, my belief is I begrudge spending a penny on advertising. What I want to do is put that money into giving customers a good experience so they say, I'm coming back again next time, and I'm driving past those other shops to come to you, and I'm going to tell my neighbours that's why don't you shop there? Now, it seems to me that is marketing, but a different sort of marketing than what is normally regarded as marketing. On the other hand, you do need to give information. I remember talking to a British company, Waitrose, some years ago, and said to them about advertising, how much they spend on advertising. They said, we don't spend a penny advertising. We, except for the announcement of opening a new shop, we show the map in the paper. Other than that, we don't. What we do is we spend all our effort to give our customers a good experience. And I said, that's exactly the way I've been running my business. So in my mind, marketing is
How does that square with I suppose the little model is very extreme, the Aldi model is less extreme, there's a little bit more choice. And the way I suppose population have moved, is it the price of everything and the value of nothing?
How do you know about Lidl and Aldi? I would think they advertise very heavily. Now, my belief is that when they started first, they didn't advertise when they started.
But as regards customer experience,
that's what they gave. They gave customers an experience which was, we will guarantee you one product. It'll be low price. It'll be acceptable quality. We're not going to give you a whole range of goods from which, and we're not going to give you brands that you know, with some exceptions. I think that's a very good marketing philosophy. It suits some people very well. On the other hand, every one of us, and I think the big change in marketing in recent times, and that's the question you asked me, is I think we have to be more flexible. And I think technology gives us the ability to be much more flexible than we were before. And technology is going to make that even bigger in the years ahead. Let me just take an example. People 20 years ago, 30 years ago, they were really only interested in price. That was the important thing because we're very short. And then we realized they're now becoming more interested in health and the environment and taste and freshness. I'm talking about food in general terms, and all of those things. Now, how did they get that information? Well, it wasn't easier to read, or you could look at the packet and everything else. Now, the modern technology that I've seen, and is very close to us now, is with your phone, you can photograph the barcode. I haven't seen it's not here in Ireland yet. Photograph the barcode and then go into that. And you'll see the farmer saying, here's my farm, here's where I am, here's what I do, here's how I do this, here's how, and all the information, here are what the ingredients are, here's the amount of salt in it, here's the amount of calories in, all of that. Now that amount of information is a much better use of technology than one which says we'll give you 4 cents off, or we'll give you whatever else it might be.
Because it enhances the customer experience.
It gives the customer the information. They don't have to do that every time. They do it with maybe they're going to buy a new product. They try 4 patties. They photograph the 4 barcodes at their leisure. They decide, that's the one I want. And taste. Now, assumption the taste is what they want, but I've got confidence in that product, and it's got the calorie count, and it's got the salt content, the sodium content, or the sugar content, whatever it is. That's the product I want. Now, at the moment, if you don't have that, you have to read reams of information to get that.
And as regards yourself and your own use of the internet, do you surf the net? What websites would you log on to, or do you Google things? Or
tend not to find the time to do it. I'm very much a home bird when I get home. So if it's a question of time on my hands, if I want information, I'll certainly use it and find it very useful for information. And I will Google the information. But in general, if I arrive home and my wife says your dinner's on the table, and we happen to live in a part of the world that we're very happy with, which is in Oath Head, overlooking south, the nearest house to us is about 8 kilometres away, so we've no curtains on our windows. Now, I can tell you that if I come in and say, oh, by the way, I want to spend half an hour looking at something on the internet, so I'm not really a big TV fan, and I'm finding some difficulty with the Feargal Quinn's retail therapy, in as much as people are saying, oh, I see it's rather similar to, or it's based on. I haven't seen these other programs, and I tend not to see them. So it's my personal assistant, Anne is my executive assistant, Anne O'Brien, for the last 24 years, and she and her husband Feargal don't actually have a television set. And she I think they're rather proud of not having one, and they like to show off that they can do without it. We're almost the same. We tend not to watch television, tend not to use the internet for entertainment, but tend to use it for just for information. And certainly, if I'm away and I want to keep in touch with Ireland, it suits me very well to be able to dip into the newspapers.
One of the international marketing gurus who we're a big fan of in Mediacontact.ie is Seth Godin, and one of Seth's big things is about the quest for companies that try and be remarkable. From going around the country and meeting all these businesses, do you think people need to try harder to stand out so that people will remark on them, and that maybe some of that was lost in the last couple of years?
Well, certainly the message I'm saying to the retailers now in this particular program, we've done 6 different shops, 3 of them, one in Cove, one in Athlone, one in Claremorris, and the others in the Dublin area. But the one thing I'm saying to them is, you've got to be great at something. It's no good being okay at everything. You can be okay at a whole lot of things, acceptable, but you've got to be great at something, because how are you going to get somebody to drive past other shops and come to you? And we're talking about shops and retail. I can remember a customer in one of our shops some years ago coming to me. She said she'd arrived in from the west of Ireland, bought her house, said to her neighbours, "Where do you shop?" For grocery shopping. They said, "Well, there's a Super Value down there, and there's a Dunnes Stores there, and there's Tesco there, but I drive past those to go to Super Quinn because..." And she did exactly that. The first week she went to Super Value, second week to Dunnes, third week to Tesco, and the fourth week she came all the way to Super Quinn. But she then described the experience she had, and I said, that's exactly what we're trying to achieve, because she said she just was found that the experience she had made it worth her while to drive past the other shops. You've got to be great at something, and that's the message I want to get across to these retailers.